Uh, yes, we are live, Benaisha. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Amit. It's been a pleasure.
Great, great. So I think that let's begin with our session. Good evening, everyone, all our audience. I'm your host, Amit Kapoor. Thank you for joining us today, and a warm welcome to all our viewers to the 18th edition of our weekly series, Let's Talk. Firstly, I want to acknowledge the immense support of our audience each week that we get, and which actually help us to continue evolve with unique topics and the array of experts with us. I think that during this conversation, please feel free to engage in the conversation, to ask questions, share your thoughts, and put your comments. I'm sure that Benaisha will be there to answer all your questions, whatever that you have. We definitely gonna pick up some questions and we'll share it with Benaisha. She'll definitely gonna try and kind of give the closest of the answers that you've been looking forward for. So today on our show, as we all know, that we have Benaisha Kharas. She's a world's youngest certified image consultant and a mental health expert. She's a fashion stylist expert and a TEDx speaker. And the most important thing is she's extremely passionate about helping others to project their charismatic, stylish, and influential image in their personal and professional lives. Today's discussion will revolve around the topic called power of positivity, and I'm sure it is a very relatable topic to a lot of our viewers. Personally, I would say it is very relatable to me as a topic. And I was just discussing before we started off this conversation with Benaisha that how this COVID situation has really transformed me in last 4 months. And because I feel that we all have noticed that we spend a very little time in appreciating our joy and being happy, because we all tend to believe that thinking positively and being happy is not a habit. It's just a fleeting emotion that we get for a while, right?
Right.
And so I think that this topic is very relevant, and I have Benaisha here who will shed more light to this particular topic. So welcome, Benaisha. I think
Thank
that you can, if in case I have missed out anything, you can introduce yourself.
you.
And
Absolutely. You said it great. Thank you.
great.
Thank you for
And I was actually listening to one of your conversation lately, where I got to know that you've got a new member in the family, right? Uh,
I do. I'm a small little puppy.
yes, 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 yes. So how exactly is your experience with the new member in the family now?
I'm a pet parent for the very first time in my life, and I'm not someone who really. I'm not an animal person, to be very honest. Not because of any other reason. It's just simply because I don't resonate, is what I thought. But again, I don't think I'm an animal person. I just think I'm a Bella person. So Bella is her name. She's a golden retriever, and
Wow.
she turned 6 just yesterday. 6 months just
Wow.
yesterday. So she's quite
Wow.
small, but she's yet very big. And yeah, so I think it's been a joy being a pet parent to her, and she teaches me a lot. Like I'm actually quite surprised at her wit and at her intelligence and her intellect as a 6 month dog. But she's very and she's fun. She's lots of fun to be around. So the first time when she came in, I was pretty apprehensive, but then I got myself around it, and now I can't even imagine my life without her. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cute.
So I also have a dog and a pet in my family, and
That's
he's around
wonderful.
2.5 years old now. And trust me, whenever that I go live, he doesn't really let me close the doors, right? I somehow managed to do that, but he keeps on knocking it the entire session. So that's
Yeah, you might even hear her at any point of
so,
time,
so that's what
barking
I'm
or
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So excuse me if in case you'll hear those sounds. Right?
likewise. Excuse us. Let's tell the audience, excuse us. This is a pet
Yeah.
friendly conversation.
Great, great. And I feel that somehow animals bring a lot of joy in your family. Somehow, personally, that I felt. Uh, so I don't know how much do you resonate to that, but
I
definitely would.
absolutely resonate to that. More so now. Earlier, I used to. I mean, I didn't think people were crazy when they said that, because being, someone into mental health, we do know that animals bring a lot of therapy, you know.
Yes.
But I think when you experience something yourself, it is phenomenal. Like you can't then doubt it
You
even
can't
for a
express
moment.
it. Absolutely. You can't express it in words, right? So it's an experience that you actually have. Great. So let's begin with a conversation with the first question that I have for you. And this is, as the topic says, about positive thinking. So I want to ask you that how does positive thinking build your skills, boost your health, and improves your work?
Okay. So positive thinking, firstly, is like you said, it is not. It's a way of life. It's not just a fleeting moment feeling. It is a
Yeah.
way of life. One needs to kind of be ready for it. It's a journey, I would say. I get a lot of clients who say, "हमें positive बनना है. We want to be positive. We want to have positive attitude and positive thinking. So make us more positive." No, it doesn't happen like that. I can always nudge you, guide you, and show you the direction. But after all, you really need to walk on that journey. And a lot of people, slip away or come back, and that keeps on happening. And it's all of us in life,
Yeah.
right? We can't be like 100% there and present all throughout. So let me answer it by one point each, the three that you
Sure.
mentioned, that build your skills. So I think that positive attitude here is it's more like a self motivator, which kind of here helps you acknowledge your shortcomings. So, see, for
Okay.
example, when you're at work, okay, when you're positive, you take criticism very well, which you call it feedback and not criticism. Then, right?
Yeah.
So, what happens is that you start to listen to people. You start to listen to people beyond yourself and beyond your inner voice that says you are right and you are the mighty and you are king. Right?
Yeah.
You start to reciprocate to other people's opinions, thoughts, and actions, and in result of that you start to realize things that you're not good at, and instead
Yes.
of calling them your shortcomings you start calling them your work upons. This is
Yeah.
a word I love to use rather than saying what are your shortcomings or what are you bad at. I always ask my clients, what do you feel are your work upons? Because
Yeah.
I truly believe that there is nothing in the world that you cannot try at least. Whether you succeed or not is something which a lot of things come together, you know,
Yes.
the degree of effort, persistence of effort, and all of that, and everything else. And I also believe in some level of destiny coming through it.
Okay. Great.
So yeah, but here I think positivity brings a lot of your skill realization to you. So if I really have to put it, having a positive attitude will only like kind of motivate you to realize your shortcomings and your work upons, and they will make you like a constant learner. So it helps you upskill yourself rather than it kind of it doesn't make you this high and mighty person.
Yeah.
So that I think positivity does for your skills, which is really, really important at work. At the same time, it's very important in relationships with people, and not just love relationships, any kind of relationships with family members or colleagues or anybody else, because everyone is constantly giving us some kind of feedback. Whether we're taking it or not is up to our intellect. And that intellect is directly proportionate to our state of mind, which is either positive or negative.
Yeah.
So that's how the chain goes. The other thing was health, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Health. So health, I think now more than ever, like I feel a lot of people are just focusing on coronavirus. Hai mere, like, do I have coronavirus? Mujhe hai, padosi ko hai, this, that. Everyone's just talking and thinking about, do I have COVID-19? Now, come on, let's really rationalize and think for a minute. There could be freak cases of, a lot of these WhatsApp go around, and a lot of people, uncle, aunties telling you, ki, I to didn't get out of my house and I don't know how COVID reached me.
Agreed. I agree.
Let's really think about it. Let's really practically rationalize and think about it for a minute. Do you really not step out? Did you really not have an interaction with somebody? Then you will finally like backtrack that auntie, uncle, and they'll say, "Ha, wo din shayad," So there is never a moment where, I mean, it's not a Harry Potter movie where Voldemort just comes into your school and grabs you away, right? By
Yeah.
demons. It's not a magic
Absolutely.
movie. There has to be
True.
some logic, because there is science to this logic.
Absolutely.
So obviously it's a virus, and we're very thankful that it's not an airborne virus that
Yeah.
we can't leave our windows open and things of that sort. So
True.
it's through close contact with individuals. So here everyone is only thinking about my health this, my health that in regards to COVID. A lot of people aren't even thinking here that before COVID came, did they know that obesity actually kills the world faster than COVID?
Absolutely.
Did they
Absolutely.
know that diabetes kills you faster than anything? So when it comes to our health and positivity, now there's no practicality. A lot of us think that मेरे नेबर को हुआ है कुछ तो मुझे भी हो सकता है,
Yeah.
उसको डायबिटीज है वो शुगर खाता होगा, मतलब डायबिटीज किसी और से भी हो सकती है. It happens because the insulin in your body is too high also, not because you eat
Absolutely.
sugar, and that
Yeah.
person might not like eating desserts.
Yeah.
So that's a fun fact, but that no one goes to find out those details. People just want hot news and masala news, and that in turns make them very negative about their own
Right.
health. Unfortunately, in fact, just recently, I actually I came to know of a first-hand case where somebody actually had an attack and passed away due to anxiety.
Oh,
That lady was so anxious. She was 57 years old, and this is a friend's aunt. She was 57 years old, and she was very anxious one entire week because she thought she might get COVID. From where? Nowhere. She's in the house, but nowhere. And she's a high blood pressure individual. She has someone, her BP is quite high most times. She went on to stress so much, so much, so much without any rationalization of it happening or not happening. And she got an anxiety attack. They couldn't help her in that case with her blood pressure, etc. That leading to a heart attack. So, I mean, so freaky, right? Like in seconds, the person is gone. And when the doctor has to come and tell you that she had nothing going on wrong for her except that she had an anxiety attack which she could not contain because her mind was racing through and through. So, when we're talking about positivity, we are not telling you to keep on saying all is well, all is well, all is well. We're telling you to rationalize. So, here I would
yeah.
say take positivity to rationalizing. How can this happen to me if I am doing this? Yes, if you are eating a lot of junk, if you're doing a lot of things, you're going out, then you need to think about COVID and the other diseases and other things. A lot of people take their health only seriously when something happens to somebody else that they know, and they don't
True.
realize that mental health is a part of your physical composition because your brain is within your skull, which
Within.
is within
Yeah.
your system,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is a part of your neurological system. And your mental health is very, very important to the functioning of you as a person. Many people today have their marriages broken, or relationship problems or job problems, not because of anything else, not because of their branding, not because of their character, not because of anything, just because of their attitude. Is it a
Yeah.
positive attitude or a negative attitude? And then people will say, हाँ बेचारा का जॉब चला गया, बेचारा ये हुआ और उसको अभी ऊपर से उसको डायबिटीज भी है. I mean, really, all this is coming together is simply because you are not being able to handle your stress levels. You're not calming your mind down. So it's a
Absolutely.
very known fact to kind of snip this topic. It's a very known fact that even cancer can cure, or not cure really, but can contain through positivity. So a lot of cancer survivors, the one thing that they all say is that we've had a positive mindset. You have to be realistic at some level. But if you're diagnosed early and if you have a positive mindset while going through all the medication that you need to do, there is a silver lining right out there. So I think health in that space too. And definitely it improves your work, your last point of work related. I think I already
Yeah.
spoke about it in these two
Yeah.
points. So it definitely improves your work because, you become more acceptive to, adjusting. And I feel like at workplace, a lot of people need to not learn, sorry, a lot of people kind of need to be more adjusting. And I don't find that only at work, a lot of other places as well in life. And if you have a positive mindset, you're more open to feedback rather than looking at it like criticism. So, yeah.
So I agree. I think that what you actually mentioned is absolutely right, and I also a firm believer of this that if in case you think positively, right, and you think positive, or you have a positive mindset, somehow it actually helps you to build up your skills and definitely boost your health and improves your work quality. So I want to kind of quote an example here in terms of to explain it. In the perspective of my perspective here. So I feel when a child, right, who runs around outside the house on a play in a play area or being swinging on branches or playing with friends. So during that process, also the child develops the ability to move athletically, right? So which this is how exactly that he builds in his physical skills, right?
Right.
And the ability to play and communicate with others. This is how exactly that he built in his social skills, right? And similarly, the ability to explore and examine the world around them actually creates creativity skills in an individual, right? So, in a way, the positive emotion of play and joy prompt a child to build in that kind of a skills which is useful and valuable for his entire life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I also agree to whatever that you just said, and I think that this so most of us as in, and this is exactly I think that is a major problem right now, that our brain is actually being programmed to respond to a negative emotions in a particular way, and this could be by shutting off the outside world or
Absolutely.
limiting the options to see around you. So you limit your options, right, your choices. So your
Amit,
negative
I think
emotion.
a lot of us actually we don't respond. We react. We react
Absolutely.
very instantly to things, and we also kind of are very quick to judge people today because there is so much of instant gratification, instantaneous. We're living in such a nagging world, like 2 minute mein taiyar. That we really don't give people a second chance anymore. We think that this is it, take it or leave it, and you might not be at any position in your life to say that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
So agree. So as you just mentioned, and that's right. So because and these negative thoughts are basically it's our survival instinct, right? We react in this way only,
Yeah.
right? That these are the only choices that I have. I might not have any other choice right now. So my next
The other
question is yeah, my next question is quite relevant to what we just discussed. Is like uh, that we know, right? We all have past responses, and you just mentioned that there are some feedbacks or there are some areas which require a little bit of improvement in anybody's life, right? So sometimes what happens is that and I wanted to understand that those areas of improvement, whenever it comes to you, right, you feel negative, you get some negative thoughts about it, that these are the areas that I'm not good at, right? So how someone can revamp their thinking into positive learning from any past rejection or a setback that they've experienced in their life, the
right.
negative thoughts that they have. So how could they actually switch their negative thoughts to positive thoughts? And I'm sure that in the current scenario, if in case you look at, this is something which is very important, because as you mentioned that people have been reading news, people have been uh, listening something which their neighbor would have told them, and that is how they've been getting more anxious about it, right? What is happening in tomorrow?
WhatsApp.
Yeah. WhatsApp, right? So tomorrow I think that I could also be the next carrier of, or somebody else could be, and people have a very different perspective of looking at people. So when somebody will comes into your house, right, or even if in case you're meeting somebody, I don't know what kind of an eye that you now have on that individual, that what exactly that is individual is carrying. So there is a lot of negative emotions that you have. So how can we switch those negative emotions to positive thoughts?
Okay. So let's talk about the past aspect that you
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah, yeah,
See, we've had a bad incident earlier in life.
yes,
Now, this could be a bad boss. This could be, a bad relationship. This could be, a similar situation, but a different setting.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
same situation, different person. Let's put it like
yeah,
that. Okay. So, what we do is we backtrack. Our mind and our emotions backtrack. They go to the earlier stimulus, which means that when I did this last time, this is what my mind and heart, or my mind, brain, whatever you want to call it, did this. And it did not turn out good. So this time I'm not going to do this. This is the usual brain pattern that all of us think. Now, especially when we're looking at it from a work relationship front and any of that, we have to go back to what we were taught in school. History subject. Okay, now I distinctly remember this. When I asked my history teacher, I said, ma'am, this is done with. Why do I need to learn? You know, why do I need to learn history? I mean, jo beet gaya, wo beet gaya. How is it going to matter to me? When she said something very interesting to me, and it kind of stayed on, and I use it a lot now, saying that the past makes you think about your present to act better in the future.
Yeah.
And this is a beautiful line that, I mean, I still am in touch with her, and she's like my mentor in many ways. And I feel so beautifully she put it, and I was like, I need to go back and study it now. And I actually scored really well, in my ICSE in history, just because of this motivation. And that's when I took to it and saying that every past explains us and leaves us a message. So you've got a bad job, you've had a bad instance, you've had a bad boss, now you have a new one. Give this new one a chance, give this new one an opportunity, but be mindful of certain characteristics
Yes.
about what you did, not about the opposite person. Now, giving you an example today. Say you're having this live session with me. Say you don't have, I hope not, but I say you don't have a good experience with me in this live session. Next week, again, you're going to do a live, right? Are you going to tell yourself, I hope she's not another Benaisha, right? You'll just say, I hope she's not another Benaisha. But hey, Amit, let me remind you, the only constant factor in all of these lives is you, not me.
Yeah.
So you might want to say that instead of hope she's not another Benaisha, what did I do as a person to make Benaisha react in this way?
Yes.
Did I do something that she triggered in this way that the session wasn't so good? And then maybe you might think, yeah, maybe I did do something to, tick her off or say something. At least have that thought. Maybe you might have not done
I
anything, then
think
you can clarify.
self-evaluation is very important.
Yes. So let's self-evaluate so that next time, maybe if I've done something, next life may I won't do it. We don't do that when it comes to jobs and relationships, and we form this pattern and then we see, अरे मेरे साथ ही क्यों होता है? क्योंकि तुम अपने आप को check नहीं कर रहे हो. You're just checking everybody else. When people tell me, I mean, I counsel a lot of, senior people as well, and they go like, but I just get the wrong people to work with me, or I don't have a good team. Everyone in my team is useless. How are you mentoring the team? What are you doing or not doing? Is also a question, because you are the one having the problem. Today, I'm pointing 10 fingers at you. All 10 people cannot be wrong now. The fingers are coming to me. I have to evaluate. So in our past, happens to us negatively probably, for us to question, are we doing something good or bad or not? The next step forward is to look at the future, or the present, I would say, to look at the present scenario with a more conscious eye, but not an over conscious mind.
Okay.
So there's a difference. A conscious eye is aware. Okay, we had the Spanish flu. Had we all as a world been very aware about our actions? Do you know? I mean, it's a funny fact and a funny story, but it's a theory today. People have started washing their hands 88% more than they ever did in the last 25 years of the world.
So
It's a theory.
it's a fact. I agree.
It's a fact. Yeah, it's a fact. So a university in America actually did a survey. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do a survey. You can ask anyone this, how much do they wash their hands? People are coming down saying, where is the soap? Where is this? So had we been more careful about it, maybe we would be in a better place. Hygiene is not something which is common sense. I mean, it's common sense. It's not something which is unusual. You have to be clean. You have to wash your hands. Common sense. Everyone says it. Every religion has it. Every culture has it. And every common sense book has it.
Yeah.
But see, we never learned na, from the past. We are now saying, but China did this, but China did this, but these people are like that, but that people are like that. Why are we doing a blame game? So it doesn't bring positive emotions in our lives, it brings negative emotions because we're overthinking. And then we actually start to transcend negativity around. Because today I cannot switch only then.
Yeah.
I can't switch because I'm so fixated in my mind that this is the problem because of all these people I meet in my life. The people I date in my life are bad because I make bad choices. That's
Hmm.
it. You said it. You make bad choices. Now evaluate your choices. Don't say all the people you meet are bad. So, similarly, if you've had past scenarios that haven't worked out, evaluate yourself in a very positive light by saying, Chalo, these were the things that I didn't do good. And now, what can I do better for the future? And, in relationships and in opportunities, and sometimes our past becomes our bridge to the future. There are lessons to get us ready. In school we had prelims before board exams. Same way, past scenarios are your prelims. They get you ready. So fail bhi ho jao to no problem, you will figure it out, study a little harder, prepare a little better, but board exam mein do it well. So yeah, I hope
No,
I've managed to answer your question.
right. I think that you very validately the response to the question that I've asked you, and I think that I very closely agree, and I would say that this is one of the tactics which any successful positive person generally use, right? So they ignore and reject all the negative thoughts around to enter into their mind, right? And that is the only way. And self evaluation is one of the very important tools. I think that we all need to do that kind of an assessment for ourselves. Till the time we do not evaluate the kind of choices that we made in our life, and sometimes what happens is that again, so you always can either repent about what you have done wrong in your life, or you can probably learn a lesson out of that, right? uh,
Absolutely, yeah.
and and uh, and definitely, so that's what I've said. So initially when I started the conversation, I told you about this, that I was a camera shy guy, right? So I never been on live cameras like this, right? But this
Yeah,
COVID, I think that this is the positive takeaway that I took from this
absolutely,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah, so we were converted all the, and there are, it's not about me, it's about a lot of people who've been converting all these. So there are, again, everybody is going through a lot of negativity around, in terms of the information is being bad, the businesses are not been doing good, jobs have been getting redundant, so things are not happening, which is good. But I think that there are a lot of good things which are happening around, and we just need to kind of encash whatever good that we can encash during this time, convert it into, all your negative thoughts convert it into positive, as you just mentioned, and introspect yourself once again. I think that you will be able to kind of go ahead and get uh, uh, right kind of evaluation for yourself, and you'll be able to kind of convert it, right? You will be able to kind of convert it very easily, all your negative thoughts to positive. So
At this point, I want to take a moment to kind of, for any viewer who might have like this aftermath thought and say, but what if someone's lost their job? How can you stay positive in such a time? So I actually, somebody asked me this, in an open forum a couple of weeks ago, to which I actually told them that, have you wanted to ever do something of your own? Have you ever wanted to anyway leave this job and try something else? Have you ever wanted to take a break? And all of, I gave them a bunch of these kind of options, and they actually looked at me like they'd seen a ghost, and they said, yeah, kind of, maybe. Why? And I'm just like, this is your
experiment.
time. The universe is actually telling you, hey guys, like, don't worry about it. You will be taken care of. I think people are very short sighted, and that's why they succumb to negativity, versus they have to be long sighted and then see that this might be good for me and I need to be patient with it.
True.
That's why a lot of people aren't, attracted to positivity, to continue with positivity, because they want instant Maggie noodle type situation solutions. They don't want to wait longer and see and test out. But everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to kill it in life and make an impact and do this, do that. But no one wants to wait on it.
Yeah.
So, this is also how positivity comes through. Right now, it looks like a shit show. Sorry for my language, but it looks like
No,
one.
but
And
that's
I
that's
know
how it
it is
is.
for many of us,
Yeah.
but I feel like, I'm someone who does not work on a salary, so I know how it is exactly. I know how it is because I run my own show. I know it's from client to client. That's how I work. So imagine when I don't have a client or when I'm on a holiday, I don't get paid. So that's how it is. So I do understand that when you lose a job, you have a lot that kind of, you need to
True.
think about. But then instead of saying, oh my God, my life sucks, rather than think about it, what can you really do with it?
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
capitalize the time, right? So that's what Benaisha has
Capitalize.
been
That's a
doing.
good word. Yes. Yes, that's a good
Right.
word.
So when we actually talking about capitalizing the time, one person who has been capitalizing this time is Jeff Bezos. So he's been the founder of Amazon, and so when
Yeah.
since I've been following, and I was reading one of his article where he actually quoted that your brand is what people say about you when you're not in
About
the
you
room.
when you're not in the room. Right. Love that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So where he mentioned that the term branding is used to be reserved for businesses initially, right? But with the advent of social sites and the gig economy coming picture right now, I think that personal branding has become a fundamental, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so my next question to you is like being a global image consultant, what do you think is the importance of personal branding and what kind of challenges do you think people face in the current competitive world?
Okay. So, first and foremost, branding is very important because जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. That's one. And the second thing is you are truly telling your consumer who you are and what you stand for. Now, whether it is an individual, that kind of is giving a service, or it is a company who has a product and is kind of servicing that, products need, packaging is very important.
Absolutely.
Today, just because you are only seeing so much of me, I can't be sitting in my pajamas,
Yeah.
right? Because hey, you're only going to see this much, put
Yeah.
on a good top and put this on, and that's that. No, you have to make it more, more palatable to the eye, I would say. You have to make it a little more interesting to your consumer. You have to make your branding very authentic to who you are. So in fact, this is something that I've very intuitively since my childhood, I've always some way somehow branded myself. Now you'll ask me how. So from the school bag that I chose, to the clothes that I wore, to the hairbands that I decided to have, to the toys that I decided to have, or the room color, we all brand ourselves. We've been doing this since we were children. We have our likes, we have our dislikes, we have certain messages that each of our clothing says, that our choices say, that the furniture in our rooms and offices say. So all this is branding, right? All this is branding. Now, what is a miss, or what is a miss that even some of my clients, international clients or national clients, come to me for, or they find that it's not marrying the two, what they want and who they are is not coming together, is
Yeah.
because what they want sometimes can be very unattainable. So today, if I say that now I am someone who's 5 feet tall, okay, I'm petite, 5 feet tall, and I say I want to have an aura like Sushmita Sen. Now that lady is like, really tall. She has a very different body. She has a
Yeah.
very different personality. She has a very
Yeah.
different bone structure. Now, what are
Yeah.
these? These are all the physical characteristics.
Yes.
Even if I go for a whole plastic surgery, I will not be able to look like her.
Look at that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I have to be accepting of my limitations.
True.
So when you are coming, when even like when clients come to me and say, this branding I want to do of, myself, I want to look like this person, I want to look like that person, I want to talk like this person. Now all of us have different ways of talking,
Yeah.
and all of our branding stems from our upbringing.
Yeah.
So, whatever you must have learned as a child, or in school, or in college, and throughout life, that kind of becomes you, that embeds within you, right? And that becomes your end all and be all, that becomes your mood board, as we say when we do branding. So when you're creating a mood board, you will decide colors, you will decide actions, you will define body language, communication skills, choice of words, all of that, depending on what information has been fed into you over these years.
Yeah.
So suddenly, if you come to me and say, I want to be the next big Amazon, I want to be the next big Uber, I want to be the next big this. See, there is no magic wand situation. There is only strategy. The strategy will only apply to the product or the person, right? Or to the brand if it aligns with your ethos as a person. Today, my physical characteristics don't match Sushmita Sen. My mental characteristics somewhere somehow might, but that doesn't mean that it can marry into it. So I need to take on certain characteristics, maybe from a Sushmita Sen, maybe from somebody else, and then see which is true to me, that I am comfortable in.
Yeah.
So the biggest mistake and the biggest thing which kind of causes a lapse or a gap when it comes to branding, and we see that a lot when it comes to personal branding more so, is when people try to be somebody else. When people are not authentic to who they really are. They are trying to fit in when they were actually supposed to be themselves. So a lot of my clients will say, "Nee, but Benaisha, I really want to look like this. I want to talk like this. I want to just be on stage." Some clients will come to me and say, "I want to be exactly like you, chapo, cut, copy, paste." I said, "I'm sorry, boss, that's not happening, because I also sometimes don't know where I come up with all these quotations and sentence forming and all of that." But how do you not practice it? Like, all of this that I'm talking to you is not rehearsed and practiced. I don't have a notebook, notepad anyway and talking to you. I'm just saying all this because these are authentic to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got me on board to talk about a subject that is authentic to me.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit and talk to me about the stock market because I have no idea about it.
Yeah.
Right? So, you as a person, you need to understand what are your pros, what can you do with that pros, how can you maximize that pros so you have a good communication skill, work towards it. Work towards your communication skill with your body language. Work towards your body language communication with your clothing. Because our appearance, so our A, appearance, our B, which is body language, and our C, communication, and now so our D, which is our digital footprint, is very important in our branding. So all these four have to marry together and be one happy family. If our appearance says I look like a rock star, our body language says I'm trying very hard to look like a rock star, but I'm actually quite a meek and a calm person. My communication, my voice is actually very soft like this. How will I look like a rock star and talk like this? It doesn't marry. And my digital footprint, I want to be a blogger. So it doesn't work at all. There is a lot of disparity within it. So you're
So I think
actually
they all
trying,
need to sing together.
it needs to synergize, sync together, because you might want something, but you are not that person. So how will you get it? You have to be it. It's like the slipper that needs to fit you or the glove that needs to fit you. Until it doesn't happen, keep trying. A lot of people, spend a lot of money on their personal branding with coaches, with clothes, with makeovers, with like physical makeovers of nose job, lip job, every job, but it doesn't look authentic. It doesn't look themselves, and that's why also that people find a miss. And people talk about a vibe तो आएगा ही नहीं ना, because who are you? I don't know, अंदर 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 जाके भी I don't know who you are, तो vibe कैसे आएगा? How will you vibe me? She didn't give me good vibes. Obviously, she didn't give you good vibes because she also doesn't know who she is. So, what vibes will she give you? So, I
Absolutely.
think being authentic is very important. A lot of times when I started doing videos on Instagram, people used to like, no makeup, okay? So, people used to be like, but why you don't put makeup? I said, no, I don't know. I feel like इसमें हो जाता है. This is my true self. This is how I come across. I love lipstick. I put lipstick. That's the definition of makeup that I do. But people go like, no, you should put makeup. Look at all these bloggers. I said, see, I'm talking about a very different topic. I'm talking about being authentic, loving yourself, being yourself. I can't tell, I'm not against makeup, but I'm not endorsing products here. So there's a very different synergy. There's a different message that you're giving out. I'm not saying what bloggers do is wrong. My sister is a blogger herself. So I don't say it's wrong. I'm just saying it's different. Appreciate the difference with everyone and accept the difference within you so that you can brand yourself better.
True.
I think that's the only problem and solution here.
No, I think that more or less what you mentioned here is like be authentic because
Yeah.
yeah. So if in case you're authentic, I think that you'll be able to kind of brand yourself in a better way instead of trying to portray yourself to somebody in terms of that, as you just mentioned, right? So if in case you try and replicate to
Yeah.
somebody with somebody, or so it's better to kind of be original. Uh, Fair. I think that that's a great takeaway out of this particular conversation that you just mentioned here. Okay, so another typical question, which I think that most of us have, and I also have, and I truly believe in this. So, so body image and self-esteem. So there are two different aspects, right? Which has
Mm.
been, but I think that somehow they are directly influence each other, right? As you
Absolutely.
mentioned that they all sync together, right?
Yeah.
So your body image and your self-esteem, when we say that directly influence each other, and somehow further your feelings, your thoughts, and your behaviors, they all influence overall, right, together to the body image and to the self-esteem. And if you don't like your body the way that you just mentioned about it, that somebody gets their no job done, somebody doesn't really like a part of their body, and they wanted to kind of, and that's what happened, right? So sometimes you don't like any of your body part or your body overall. It's hard to feel good about your whole self,
Right. Yes.
right? And the reverse is also true. So if you don't value yourself, right, it is hard to notice good things about yourself, right? So
True.
you don't even your body doesn't even get that kind of a respect which it deserves sometime,
Right.
right? Because yes, because your confidence level, your self-esteem is at a very low right now.
True.
So my question to you is, in your opinion, what are the effects of self body image on confidence, and how do you think positive thinking affects one external physical health or appearance?
Okay. So, firstly, the way you look is the way you think. The way you think is the way you feel. The way you feel is the way you will act. And then your actions will get you responses or reactions from other people.
Yeah.
So let's be fair, the way we look really is important to most of us and all of us. Okay, at least 99% of the world. I wouldn't say 100 because I'd let that 1% have their way. But it would be totally wrong if people say, no, it's 50-50. That's not happening. Everyone is affected by the way they look. So I feel here, if at all you are someone who feels that if they, if they make some changes with themselves, so you can take something as simple as like dieting, working out, exercising, getting new clothes. These are the more doable things rather than the extremist things of, actually, going under the knife. That is a very personal thing, and it's not something that is right or wrong. It's very personal. So, I mean, there are people who do it and it works for them, and then there are some people who do it and they don't like it. That's a different scenario. It's a topic for another day. But here it is very important to, if you're going the other way, which is the regular way that everyone wants to go without going under the knife, it's very important that you see yourself with the utmost clarity of who you are as a person. When I look at myself in the mirror, I see a person beyond the body shell that I am. I see the talent, I see the intellect, I see the kindness, the rudeness, the every other internal emotion that comes through and through. Right? It cannot just be the exterior shell. Now,
True.
as much as the exterior shell is important, there are many options today to work around it. So, one part of my job here tells people as well that fair enough, you're thinking really good. Now, to continue it, let's package you in all of these things. So,
Yeah.
one is to think good, but the other is also to act good and feel good. So, dress up well also, because that also stimulates your body to be like, I am, like, this is cool, this is me, this is how I am, this is my packaging, all of that. ऐसे नहीं कि gift दे देते हो, you wrap it only, no. So you are a gift. What the gift is your internal personalities. The
Yes.
wrapping paper is all this: clothes, accessories, jewelry, makeup, hairdos. All this is a gift wrap. So what here you need to do is that if you're not completely happy with your physical body,
Mhm.
you will not even start to have self-esteem at all, because
Yeah.
self-love first comes from like loving your body image. So you
True.
must have a positive body image in order to want to even do something or not do something.
Yeah.
If you keep on looking at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, I'm so fat, I'm so fat, I'm so fat, you'll never even hit the gym.
Yeah.
You'll keep on binging and you'll keep on going, I'm so fat, what's the point? No matter what I do, I'll always be fat, let it be. And you become a cribber then. And
Yeah.
then every time people don't want to hang out with a cribber who constantly says, yeah, but you lost weight, oh, but I'm so fat, oh, but you lost weight, I'm so fat. You're building more negativity. So
True.
rather than say, okay, I'm big boned, change the word, I'm big boned, I'm working towards myself and work towards. Again, the question comes, what are you doing or not doing for your goals? If you're not doing anything about it and you're only cribbing about it, you're going to be a negative person. There is no self esteem, usme.
Yeah.
You might have great self esteem when it comes to work, but when somebody tells you come in a photograph, no, no, I'm not coming, then the person will be like, isko kya ho gaya? Otherwise, she's very confident, he's very confident. What happened now? The disparity starts to show. Because in one aspect of your life, you have great confidence, and the other aspect, which is your personal aspect, you don't have great confidence. That underlining insecurity will transcend into everything in your life, whether it's work, relationship, parents, children, anything.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow, if your husband ignores you, this happens to most women. When a husband ignores his wife, the first thing a wife goes and looks at herself in the mirror and says, Mujhe kya hua? What is wrong with me and what is good with other people? हाँ तुम्हें तो कोई और दिखता नहीं है, everybody else besides me, you can't see me. So it comes on to this, because you are not happy with your own body. That is why you're telling other people that they are, but they have not even thought like that.
Yeah.
They've not even thought like that. So it's very important to accept, love yourself truly. An empty glass cannot pour. People say, I love you to the moon and back. I love you a lot, but खुद से प्यार करते नहीं हैं. I will give up my life for you. I mean, if you really love that person, you will never give up your life for them,
Yeah.
right? Because you have to first love yourself. People today have relationship problems because of this. They say, I got married, or my husband before marriage was good, or my wife before marriage was good, now they don't talk to me enough, now they don't look at me enough, or now they don't you know anything with me enough. So it just becomes like, wherein, what are you really doing for yourself? And these are, then I ask these girls, what are you doing? Or ask these guys. Now usually it's in this girl scenario, wherein they say, I left my job for him, or I'm doing a lot at home now, because he wouldn't want me to work, he wouldn't want me to do this, but before all this he didn't mind you doing all this, so now suddenly what happened? So no, no, but I think I'm like this, I am putting on weight also now, I'm doing this also now. So they are not happy with themselves. You have
Yeah.
to first love yourself completely and accept yourself. Now,
Absolutely.
I'm a short person, my husband's a tall person. He knew that when he was marrying me, I knew that when I was marrying him. There is no way I can do monkey bars and become tall.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Right? So, even, I mean, he never says this, but even if he looks at a tall girl with another tall boy, and God forbid if he even says that oh, I wish you were taller, I'm just gonna look at him saying, well, this is what you settled for. Not that he says it, but this is what you settled for. Because see, I am confident that I'm short, I'm short. Take it or leave it. I can't do anything about it. You know? So you have to figure a way around to be confident, so that other people's insecurities also don't come onto you. And I think very, very key important is self love. You have to accept physically whatever curve, whatever beauty spot, whatever birthmark, whatever, anything. I used to work with, before all of this happened, I used to work with women who are rehabilitations from their rape victims. So some of them have scars, some of them have brutal bruises, some of them have lost an eye or something in self defense or fight, some of them have acid marks. And um, they come out being more positive.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working with them since like 5 years now, and they come out being super positive from a trauma scenario. And we are sitting and crying here that my this one doesn't look at me, my friends don't talk to me, I'm fat by 1 kilo, 2 kilos, shirt nahi aaya. I mean, we're trivial on these things. And whenever this is something that I personally use, that whenever I feel like my life is not going good, I remember all these people in my life whose life has never been good, and that just makes me feel so grateful, and in regard to that makes me feel positive that Benaisha, you're living a queen's life, yeah, like just chill out.
True.
So I think we
And
need to find these dodgy mechanisms for our own self and see what works. Now I think I've given 2 3 coping strategies here.
definitely.
I think the
I,
viewers can choose whichever ones they like.
the best thing is like self-love. So once you would start loving yourself the way that you are, because we can't really do much about as you just mentioned, we can't much do about our bone structure, our in terms of what is the height, what is our color, or there are a lot of
The
things that we
hair
can't really do.
texture.
Hair texture, yeah. So you still can probably experiment with your hair, but still, as in you can't do with certain things, right? So when uh, so I agree. Whatever that you've been given and gifted by the God, right? Whatever that you've gained, because I remember there was a forum wherein I was a part of that forum wherein, and the forum was about women who have met with certain accident. People met with accident and they had scars. So this forum says about scar is beautiful, right? And there were people who were sharing about their experiences with their scar, so very prominent in their body, and they say that we feel proud when we show off those scars,
Absolutely. Yeah.
because there is a learning behind it, there is a story behind it, and everything which is. I think that it's about how strongly that you believe in yourself and your self-esteem can definitely body plays a very important part, but whatever it is, if in case you have confidence in your own self, I think that's
Confidence will only come if you love yourself,
love
you
yourself.
know?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that with positive mindset, you'll be able to kind of turn around anything in terms of
Yeah.
the way that you look, the way that you think. I remember if in case tomorrow that I would go ahead and go back during my school days and would see my picture, right? I would not be able to even resonate myself, right?
I
This
was
I
a very underconfident child. I mean, I say all this to you today only out of my own experience. I mean, I didn't think I looked good. I had my own body image issues. People look at me and say, but what do you have to worry about? You're thin, you're skinny, you're the body everyone wants to have today. Hello, but maybe I have my own challenges in my mind, you know.
It's the
So
same individual,
I
yeah. That's what I'm saying. So same individual, you back uh, some years back, if in case you look at, and if in case I look myself back during my college school days, I used to feel at that point in time I was very happy that I am one of the best. Yeah, but now when I actually go ahead and compare it, you tend to see that what exactly we used to wear, what how we used to carry
yeah.
ourselves, it was different, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit embarrassing after a point of time, but yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So another question, very well connected to this. So there is a basic say that we always talk about that first impression is very important, and you never get a second chance to make a first impression, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so make it one that you would set you apart and build trust and reflect who you are, right? So what do you think is significance of powerful first impression, and how can one ensure to create a same for themselves?
Okay. So, are you asking me if it is a significant thing to have a
Yes,
good
is
first
it
impression?
important to, and does it really have that kind of a value that first impression is
So, okay. So, today, when simple example, okay, and a very relatable, all of us, most of us are on Instagram. We have a feed section, yeah,
yeah,
and we can scroll and scroll and scroll. This finger can get a lot of physical activity in one day by just scrolling. When do we stop the scrolling? Is when we see something exciting, when we see something impressive, when we see a color, a font, or some kind of graphic or a video or something of that sort that interests us. What is it? It's their first impression. You might have probably not gone on to that person's profile since a very long time, but you've seen this. Then you click on to their profile. Okay, or in the explore page, you see something really like there are 100 pictures in that explore. You keep on going the small boxes. But you click on something that excites you and that entices you, that's of your interest, that's of your choice, and that looks very catchy to you, and you click on it. And within 3 seconds, you decide, do you want to follow this account or you not want to follow this account? That is the power of first impression. Instant, which is why it's Instagram. So you need to be so fast in today's world, fortunately or unfortunately, wherein people will like you in 3 seconds or not.
Yeah.
So today in this live session, now there'll be many people here who would have seen you many weeks, 18 weeks over, right? People have seen me for the first time probably, and they might either, I might appeal to some, I might not appeal to some. So some of them might have shut the video and gone saying, no, I can't deal with this girl, like she talks like this or she looks like this or whatever, and gone off. There might be some who have still stayed on, thank you very much, but it has that appeal look, it has the appeal. So now, for example, there are many times wherein your first impression can make or mar the situation. Giving you another example, today girls have their thing of putting their hair so close like this. This might be fashion to some, but it might be irritating to a lot of other people, right? So people will be like, oh my God, please hatao, baal hatao, and if I don't do it, people might just repulse and get off the live session. So my point here being that first impression is very important. In fact, it distinguishes a lot of similar products to let the consumer know that this is for me. Today, let's go to a big bazaar, supermarket. Okay, there are 5, 6 soaps there. All of them wash and clean you in the same way. All of them, if you look back, they have the same ingredients, almost to all of them. Only their fragrances could have changed, possibly, but that you yet don't know, right? You are not like smelling the soap from outside yet, though some people still do. Here, what are you looking at? You're looking at the packaging. You're looking at the packaging. You might have heard some of its marketing also. So what is happening here is that you are connecting to the colors, to the font, to the graphic, to the cuteness or the sexiness of an object, or the beautifulness, sereneness of an object. Same happens with people. Everyone has got 90% for this job candidature. Okay. Everyone sitting outside the office is the same marks.
Skills.
Probably same college also. Same board, same college, everything same. Like chapo. Only the 4 names are all different. Okay. So what is it that defines them? What is it that distinguishes them? What is it that I should, as an employer, choose you instead of you or you or you? What is it that's different? So when you walk into that meeting room and then you introduce yourself, the way you look, so the choice of clothes. Now here, choice of clothes doesn't mean you need to have branded clothes. It needs to be that you are well structured. You're wearing the most appropriate clothes. You're wearing clothes that are authentic and are appropriate for the job candidature, right? So, I mean, there are many times, I still remember last year when I'd come down and I had a client here and I'd taken my client shopping and my client was in the changing room and there was another small girl outside and her mother was making her buy a jacket, a suit, right? And I just intuitively, so I'm really high on my intuition. So my intuitiveness said that Benaisha, she's going to do a big mistake, stop her. So I just asked her. I'm very bad at this, but it brings me sometimes joy, cheap thrill. So I asked her, I said, what are you buying this suit for? Because she really looked very tiny. Like tiny in the sense that she looked like she was from school, fresh out of the oven. Okay. I asked her, I said, what are you taking this suit for? She's like, I have an interview day after. And I said, okay, fine. So, what job are you applying for? I'm applying for a marketing job. Okay. I'm applying for a marketing job. And she said the company's name. And because I've worked with a bunch of people from that particular company as well. And it's a pretty popular company. I kind of said, This is not the work culture there. So I instantly told her, I said, I'm sorry, but I really want to give you this tip here. And I'm a professional, and you can ask my client, I mean, she's hired me here. Don't buy this. So we were in Marks and Spencer's, and she was buying a suit, okay? A black suit, black jacket, black trousers. And what was she? All of 21, 22, and she was going for a marketing job. Now, you know how advertising and marketing is. It's jeans, shorts, t-shirts, I mean, tweety tops. I don't know. It's the works.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, this is not going to work. Don't wear jeans and t-shirt, but wear something which is not so much that you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
So that also is an image breaker. So you have to be appropriate and authentic to what you're going for. If you're going to apply at a fashion house, look fashionable. If you're going to apply at a finance house, looks credible. If you're going for a marketing job, look creative.
True.
You know, these are the keywords that we need to do when we are packaging ourselves. So first impression is absolutely and thoroughly important depending who your target audience is. Who are you meeting at the end of the interview? What kind
Right.
of company are you working for? Right? So definitely very very important. It's like when we say शादी के लिए जाना है, ठीक है, कहाँ पे है शादी? 5 स्टार में है तो दूसरा लहंगा आएगा. If it's in a normal place, दूसरा सलवार कमीज आ जाएगा. So it's like that, right?
Yeah,
So first impression, I think, is so important from anything you buy. Anything. As a child, also, when you must have bought a toy, you will buy something that's appealing to you.
yeah, I agree, and I think that it is really very important, and that is the reason that most of the people talk about that. And I think that we continue the conversation once we actually go ahead and have our first impression being created, right?
Trust
So it
is
is.
built like
Yes, yes. So if in case the first impression is not good, I think that most of the, even at corporates, I've seen that people actually do not continue to work or continue to uh, go ahead with
that.
any
Kind
of
of
the project. Yes, cut off. So I think that even because I'm basically from an HR background, so when we actually talk about recruitment, I think that we make decisions in 30 seconds, whether we want to go ahead with the interview or not, or do we want to probably, or we even decide as in any HR for that matter, they take around 30 seconds to 1 minute to decide about what they want to do, and rest of the interview continues to probably either go ahead and assure the decision that you've taken in that 30 seconds is correct or not.
True, true, absolutely. I mean, what is
So,
speed dating today? It's like that. What is arranged
yeah,
marriage? It's first
yeah,
impression,
it's first
you know?
impression.
So,
Absolutely. So I think that people usually are attracted to the kind of friendly personalities, and a good first impression can definitely have a very big impact on the development of your future relationship with that individual or with company or with employer, with your peers. So I think it is very important. So even in corporates that I've seen that your first impression plays a very important role.
yes, it does.
Great, great. And I think that overall, when we discussed about positive thinking and how closely it is related, and I'm so sorry, I didn't really realize that it's almost close to 1 hour that we've been speaking.
Neither did I.
I so got engrossed into the conversation, didn't really count the minutes here. It was a lovely, really insightful conversation that I have with you. And I think that what I've understood out of this conversation is like positive thinking. It isn't a magic, right? It won't make all your problems disappear. But what it will do is make problems seems more manageable, right? And
Yes.
helps you to approach the hardship in a more positive and a productive way, right? And I think that self-love, self-grooming, that's something which is very important. And I think that is a takeaway from this session. And I'm sure that the audience would have enjoyed this lovely conversation with Benaisha. I thoroughly enjoyed, and I think that I definitely come back to you in terms of some more tips in terms of how can I groom myself, right?
Sure.
So thank you very much, Vinasha,
Thank
for being
you.
here, and it was lovely interacting with you. And
Thank you
I
for
hope to see you back with some more interesting topics to discuss and to talk about. And yeah, so wish you luck
Thank
for
you.
all your
Wish you all the
future
best as well.
endeavors.
Take
And
care.
stay safe. Take care of yourself.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Vinasha.
You,
Thanks.
Amit.
Thanks.